In ministry, in any business, so some people see their business as ministry. Some people, their ministry is just a ministry. And in any scenario, it is so important to not just articulate what you do. It is more valuable to articulate the why. So getting below the surface helps us to unearth that why. And it also helps to make more clear what is the impact that we are trying to make. So being able to articulate that and get clear about that can help you to better communicate your story, can help you to more deeply connect with the people that you want to serve. And if you're looking for supporters as well, not just, those who you want to have a direct impact with or on, you need to also be able to articulate it to them as well. So how we do our ministries and what we offer, it might change, but the why is still going to be there.
Hey, I'm Reverend Jocelyn, a minister of healing, speaker, and women's ministry coach. I grew my ministry from a simple blog to a national Christian trauma healing movement. And now I help women to answer their call to build purpose-driven ministries and businesses. Welcome to Reverend Jocelyn Talks, where healing meets purpose. Hey family, it's your sister Reverend Jocelyn here, and welcome back to my show, Reverend Jocelyn Talks. I am very excited to be here today with an amazing woman of God who I had the pleasure of connecting with a couple years ago when I was a part of one of the programs that she co-founded, Do Good X. Kimberly Daniel is the co-founder of K Renee Consulting and a brand communication strategist with over 15 years of experience turning complex ideas into powerful people-centered brands. And as I mentioned, she's also the co-founder of Do Good X, and she is someone who's very passionate about helping people to live out their purpose. She absolutely is all about doing good. So we are blessed to have her here on the show today. Welcome, Kimberly. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. Well, I mean, Kimberly, your program played a significant part in my life, particularly when I was preparing to launch my kingdom business, as I call it. I was maybe actually a year in, but I was still trying to find my way. And so I really appreciate what you do, your heart, your work. And I want all the people who are listening right now to learn a little bit more about you. So before we get into your current work, I would love to hear your backstory as to why you're so passionate about helping people to live out their purpose. What was life like before you even started Do Good X and your consulting firm?
Well, I'll say this. I come from generations of faith-driven, faith-rooted leaders, and it includes pastors, entrepreneurs, teachers, community leaders. So I was born into a space and a family that, purpose is a part of getting clear about our purpose and leaning into it and living it is a part of what we do and contributing to the common good in what we do. I'm a PK, a preacher's kid, and a
Really?
teacher's kid.
Really?
Yes.
All the things, all the
All
kids.
the things. all, all the things. And so, exploring meaning, exploring purpose has always been extremely important to me, even when those spaces and places weren't available to me to explore when I was younger. But as I got older, what became clear to me is that one, what my skills and gifts are and were cultivated to be. And two, it is important to explore how I might use those gifts to really support other people and organizations. So for me, I'm someone who really sees below the surface and helps to bring meaning and clarity to it. And that is illuminated across all of the things that I do. I am someone who really moves a vision into action. A lot of people are so gifted at coming up with some grand ideas and vision, but I help to move them into action. And then also, I bring the sense of calm when chaos emerges. And so for me, through all of my work, working within organizations that can get very chaotic, or entrepreneurs who are on the grind, and there's a sense of chaos and hustle that can happen. I help to bring a sense of calm, a sense of clarity, and helping people to really align with their purpose. Prior to this work that I'm currently doing, that's my upbringing, but my background is also in the arts. And so I bring a bit of that creative component to my work. That's important to me in theater, working in arts related organizations. And then I began working in an organization for 14 years. And that organization is committed to helping young people to discern how they might explore and pursue ministry in its various forms. And so I brought the purpose piece into that. I brought the design piece into that because I served in a communications role there and became a senior leader there as well. And then that transitioned into what I'm up to today.
Amazing. I love it. So, Kimberly, you have such a multifaceted background with your spiritual upbringing, the arts, and then you have like the strategic mind too, which is a unique combination, plus the heart and passion for this work. And you talked about how there is like a line between everything that you do, which is connected to your core values. And so
Mhm.
you help people, you said, to go beneath the surface, to go deep, and to be able to articulate their purpose in a way that creates impact. So let's talk a little bit more about the work that you do. And particularly, I have a lot of women who listen to this podcast who know that they're called to build a purpose driven ministry or business. So I would love to talk to you a little bit more about why is it important to go beneath the surface as to why you do what you do and to be able to articulate that effectively.
Yes, that is such a great question. In ministry, in any business, so some people see their business as ministry. Some people, their ministry is just a ministry. And in any scenario, it is so important to not just articulate what you do. It is more valuable to articulate the why, because that is what people deeply, deeply connect with. And so, I talk with a lot of organizations, both faith related or just purpose related or cause related. And I ask them to share their story. And so many of them start with what it is they offer and how they offer it.
Yep.
They go straight to that.
Into that.
And, well, why do you do this? And it what comes to the surface is that a lot of them don't even know how to articulate it, or they're not attuned to answering that question. And so, but that is what is gonna connect with the people that we serve. And it's also going to connect with the impact that you wanna make. So, why getting below the surface helps us to unearth that why, and it also helps to make more clear what is the impact that we are trying to make. Yes, we're doing it through this particular way in our ministries, but the ultimate purpose of what we're doing is going to contribute to this specific impact. So being able to articulate that and get clear about that can help you to better communicate your story, can help you to more deeply connect with the people that you want to serve. And if you're looking for supporters as well, not just, those who you want to have a direct impact with, or on, you need to also be able to articulate it to them as well.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. When I think about Simon Sinek's epic TED Talk, Start With Why, that
Yes.
really resonated with me. And I think, even in addition to what you shared, understanding your why helps you to stay the course when you feel like quitting. Because I promise you,
Right.
starting a business or a ministry is not for punks. If I could just put it out there, you will feel tired sometimes and discouraged. And it'll also keep you in alignment with integrity as it relates to your mission if you're clear on your why. Because there could be a lot of distractions out there too, right?
Yes, and I'll also add to that too. So how we do our ministries and what we offer it might change. So think about going back to the pandemic. We have all of these congregations and churches meeting in person initially and doing these ministries to feed those who are without homes and all of these things. But then the pandemic happens, and every way that we are doing our work or doing our ministry is upended because we can't do it in the ways that we've always done it. But we still have that why and that deep commitment. And from there, these new ways of serving and showing up that met people where they were came to the surface. So I give that example to say the why in those moments did not change, the how did. And so that's also why it's important to be able to articulate your why, because the way you do ministry today, it may last for such a long time, but you may want to pivot at some point or shift the way that you're doing things, or maybe you're going to grow out and reach a different audience in who you serve. But the why is still going to be there.
Such a great point, Kimberly. And when someone is clear on their why and they want to be able to articulate their message to the people who are their assignment, I often say,
Mhm.
sometimes there's a struggle there to be able to put your message out in a way that resonates with those who you're called to serve. If someone is in that situation, particularly nowadays, there's so many individuals vying for your attention on social media and to rise above the noise so that people say, "Oh, I want to listen to them." What do you have to share with someone to help them to figure out a way to again stand out in a crowded market, so to
Mhm.
speak?
So there's a lot that I could say, but I know we're limited on our time. So
That's fair. That's
I'll
fair.
start I'll start with this. Before you even get into what you're going to share, you need to get clear about, well, before you get into how you're going to share, you need to get clear about what you're going to share. So I'm going to start there. And so we need to focus on first, what is the problem or need that you're addressing? It may not necessarily surface as a problem, but it may surface as a need or even a desire that you're addressing through your ministry. So are you clear about that? Your audience, who is it that you're serving that you are trying to reach? Now, I'm not just talking about some broad audience or being very general. Who are you trying to meet? Are you trying to meet or serve Black women between the ages of 18 to 30 who are looking for X? You know, understand who your audience is and be clear about that. And how does your ministry meet their needs? How does it meet their needs? So those are 3 things. I would also add, what is the impact that you wanna make? What is the impact that you wanna have on that particular audience, that particular community? What's the impact? And the last piece is, where do those you want to serve hang out? Where do they hang out? Where can you meet them where they are, and how do you understand their language, what resonates with them, and how you want to make them feel, or what you want to make them do? What do you want to make them see when you share your story with them, or what it is that your ministry offers? So that's not necessarily a direct answer to how you make your voice stand out in the crowd. But what I'm doing is giving you questions that give you these kind of pieces of the puzzle to put together, because this will involve a longer conversation. But
Yes,
I will say,
for sure.
the more clear you are in what it is that you want to communicate, and what it is that you're up to and how you can meet those needs and address those problems, the more that you will stand out, because someone will see or hear your message and say, "Oh, she's talking to me. That is something that I'm experiencing." Or, "Oh, I didn't even know this existed." Or, "I didn't even know I had that challenge, but you just made it clear to me that that is a challenge that I have, and your ministry can help me to address that and heal something or live into my purpose," or whatever it might be that you do.
Absolutely. Kimberly, I think you answered my question because I think one of the challenges sometimes when someone's getting started or they have a cause that they want to champion is just getting clear with, first of all, their messaging and understanding deeply the person who they're called to serve. And I really appreciate the consecutive steps that you raised because I feel like there was a order to that
Mhm.
intentionally, because understanding who, not just from a general standpoint, like sometimes I hear women who I coach say, I want to help women. How many billion women are in the world? Okay, so let's get a little bit more specific. Okay, is it like a geographic area? Do they have a shared problem? And then
Yes.
understanding their problem on a deeper level to be able to articulate, what you're offering and how you can best serve them. So that was a great starting point. And actually, I think we are at a point where we need to take a quick commercial break, but after we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about why understanding marketing is so important when building a transformational ministry. So we will be right back. Hi, it's Reverend Jocelyn, and it is time to accelerate your ministry. I have had the pleasure of working with thousands of women across the country to help them to answer the call. And oftentimes, when they first come to me, they're struggling with things like, how do I have clarity about my next steps? Or how do I generate revenue for my ministry? Or how do I market my ministry? These are common struggles. But this is what I've learned. You don't have to struggle alone. Support is available for you. And if you are at a place where you are serious about taking your next step as it relates to your ministry and you want to see results, I want to invite you to book a free Ministry and Business Accelerator call with me. A time where we'll talk about your challenges, we'll talk about your goals, and we'll talk about a path forward for you to get the support that you need. Now, spots are limited, so you want to act fast. But I am here to support you in taking that next step in your ministry journey. So let's accelerate your ministry together. Book your call today. Welcome back from our commercial break. I'm here with the amazing Kimberly Daniel, and she is someone who really helps those who are on mission to leave impact, to be able to get their message out to the world. And with her unique background as a PK kid, a teacher's kid, I didn't even know that before, and her creative background, her strategic background, she really helps those who are called to ministry or to kingdom businesses to be able to articulate in a way that resonates their mission. And so, Kimberly, right before commercial break, we were talking about some of the elements to help people to really understand deeply those who they're called to serve and be able to articulate that in a way that resonates. Now, I really want to position to those who are listening the importance of marketing. And I know, especially in ministry, some people might say, marketing, really? That sounds like a business term. But there's a reason behind that. Even if you have a nonprofit, if you have a purpose-driven business, marketing's important. Can you speak to why it's such an important part of the model?
Yes, marketing is important because how else are people going to know what it is that you are doing? Marketing in its most simple terms is really looking at how you are sharing what it is that you are up to in a way that is reaching the audience that you hope to reach. And so marketing has as many forms, and I can take this conversation a bunch of different ways. But where would you like to focus, Jocelyn?
Yeah, well, I honestly think where you're going right now is important because I think that people have different ideas about what marketing is. So if you can kind of just say fundamental principles around what does marketing look like and how might it look
Mhm.
in the context of someone who is launching a ministry or purpose-driven business in a way that's not so super scary.
Sure, sure. I do get that marketing can seem very overwhelming, especially if it's not your area of expertise. And so, what I will say is that, if you're really building off of what we talked about before the commercial break and you have those pieces in place and you're clear about your audience, the marketing piece comes into play when you are looking at where is this audience? Where do they hang out? If that audience is who you're wanting to directly reach. And so and thinking about, well, how can I reach them there? Now, I will say a lot of people these days, when they think about marketing, they go directly to social media. And social media is a great tool and it can be a very valuable tool, but that is just one piece. So I want you to expand your imagination of what marketing is. I will go basic. There is word of mouth. That is a
Oh my
form of
goodness.
marketing.
Word of mouth is still a thing, Kimberly, huh?
That is still a thing, and it can be extremely valuable. I'll give you a personal example. In my first year of my consultant business, I did not do any quote unquote what people typically go to as marketing. I did not share what I'm up to largely on social media or direct mail or email campaigns. My clients came to me, 99.9% of my clients in my first year came to me by word of mouth. And so that can be very powerful depending on who you are trying to reach. So expand your imagination, word of mouth, direct mail, if you have an email list, that can be extremely valuable, especially these days, because let me tell you, you can try to reach the masses if you want to, but that's not necessarily what can be most valuable. I think about Seth Godin, who is a marketing expert, and he wrote this book. And in the book, he talks about tribes. And if we have 100 people who are dedicated and loyal to what it is that we are doing, or loyal to your ministry, or want to be involved, if you have those 100 people, that might just be all you need, because from those 100 people, they'll be talking about what you're doing, especially if they have a great experience with you and you're making an impact. And you deliver on your promise. So if you have those 100 people, they have an amazing experience. They then become what I call brand ambassadors for what it is that you're doing in your ministry. What that could look like is they're sharing about what you're doing on social media. They're telling their friends, they're telling their families, they're telling their coworkers, and then it just becomes this ripple effect of who is a part of your ministry and who is a part of your loyal audience. So again, that goes back to a word of mouth in your tribe, but just throwing some other things out there. There is still, there's media, there are printed ads, there are digital ads. There's so many outlets. So I just give these examples to say that don't narrow yourself. You really have to understand where your audience is. So if your audience is on social media, what is one platform that they're most active on that might be most effective for you? Don't try to be everything to everyone at every single place, right? So maybe there's that. Okay, well, this audience isn't necessarily on social media, but you know what? They are receiving the church newsletter and they are very active there. That church newsletter has a 50 to 75% open rate, which is amazing. I, if you get into data stuff with communications. And so, well, maybe the best approach I might take is doing some type of email campaign or sending these direct emails and building my email list. So you really just have to be strategic, do some research, be scientific, put on your research hat and get on the computer or talk to people and find out where they are, and what they're reading and what they're engaging with. That is so important. That would make your life so much easier because it'll tell you where you need to be.
Oh, 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 oh. I wish people hopefully they get how valuable these gems are that you are sharing because when I first got started, I didn't understand these concepts. And so I would launch certain things without actually sitting down and talking to those who I plan to serve, not really understanding where they hang out, which platforms they're on. And so I'm telling you, anyone who's listening right now, what she's sharing will save you a lot of heartache if you do the upfront research first, because you don't necessarily have to be stretched in 50 million directions. Actually, that's diminishing returns. You
Right.
want to focus your energy on where your people are. And that does require you doing a little bit of research first so you can be intentional. So that is amazing. Now, for someone who's starting off and they're like, "I really don't even have a budget." It sounds like you gave some really good ideas. First, that word of mouth concept is one. Is there any other ways in which someone who might be a little tight right now, they're just getting started, can go about marketing and spreading their message?
Absolutely. There are so many free tools that you can use these days. So, again, first, like you were just kind of drilling down on, that research is so important, and getting clear about where your audience is. So if you find that your audience is on a particular social media platform, it is free to join that social media platform. You can use a tool like Canva to create templates, and Canva has a free subscription. Well, I guess a free tier, I should say. And so you can join Canva, and it can help you create some templates that you could then use on your social media for branding purposes to make things look good. And you can go on YouTube to find videos. If you don't know how to create a reel or a story, you can go to YouTube, free resource. So social media is free. Now, when it comes to email, so if you have an email list or people who are interested in subscribing to your email, even if you haven't quite created an email campaign yet, because some people do that to build a list so that eventually they can create some type of email newsletter that they can do on an ongoing basis. So there are some tools where you can, again, there's a free tier. You might be limited on how many people you can email to or how many emails you can send per month, but that gives you some testing ground to see if it's something that will even work. And then once you start generating whatever resources you need, you can then go up a level. And so, and then you can also use AI tools. AI tools, I would encourage you to use them responsibly because it also impacts our environment, or to explore AI tools that you can download to your computers or your devices where they're not using energy in the ways that it does online. I'll get off that soapbox. But but there are also tools that you can use that can help you do some research into what might be the best places and spaces you might explore. Also, if you do influencer marketing, that's something, as well. If you find somebody who is aligned with your values and what you're doing in your ministry, who is open to sharing what you're up to via their platforms, which could vary. That if there's someone you have a good relationship with, that could be a free route, in a free path to generate the types of connections that you hope to make for your ministry. There's so many things, but I would encourage you, if you don't have any budget, to start with research, to get clear about those questions that I mentioned earlier, to look at using Canva, to look at the social media platforms, to look at who's in your community where you can just share with them what you're up to. Maybe you're on personally on an existing platform, and you can share about what your ministry is, and then other people will naturally share about it. And so, part of it in the phase, I would say like the startup phase, in the entrepreneurial world, where you don't have the funds and maybe you don't have additional people to help you, get creative. This It is amazing how much we can be creative in constraints. Think about our ancestors, y'all.
Come on now.
They
Come
made a
on.
way out of no way.
They sure
And
did.
so
They sure did. And you can too, but
you
sometimes
can
we have
too.
to think out of the box, and so you just dropped like 5, 6 different ways in which someone can begin marketing their ministry, which shows that there's really no excuse. It's just a matter of saying, I get to do this, and I'm gonna focus on it, I'm gonna be creative, and I'm gonna use what I have." And I also want to lift back up what you shared about the importance of testing. Again, I don't want people to miss that, because sometimes if you just take the opportunity to test to see how the market responds before you put a lot of resources behind it and a lot of energy, again, it can save you trouble down the road. I also want to uplift the fact that you were talking about the email list. You mentioned that a couple times. And for someone who is new to the marketing space, why is that email list so valuable to someone who is building their company, building their brand? And how can they leverage their email list to help them grow their impact?
Yes, an email list is growing in its value, in my opinion, because of there's so much going on in the world right now, and there's so much that's vying for our attention. It can be challenging sometimes to meet or find or engage with the audience that we want to or we're hoping to with our ministries. And so having an email list really builds that loyal community who wants to know about what we're up to, instead of fishing for it out there in the sea. we are working with this group of specific people that we know are already interested, or at least somewhat interested enough to sign up for our emails, to engage with us. And so it is extremely valuable. And when you're building this list, I would say a few things that are important is one, having people to opt in. Don't assume that people want to be on your email list. Also, there's some legal stuff behind that, but we won't get into that. But have a way for people to opt into your email list, or either have a way in which you have it documented that they have opted into your email list. Now, like I said earlier, even if you're not sending out emails yet, you can be building this list, even if it's for a year. You could be building this list, and then launch whatever it is that you're launching, with those emails in mind. And this will also help you to see, well, how many people are actually interested in your ministry and what you're up to? It can be really an incredible tool. And from there, it is very important to continue to grow it. And so if you have a website, making sure that there's a way that people can sign up there. If you're on social media, maybe you might highlight it there. If you are sending out emails to people, just one-on-one emails, you could put it in your email signature, inviting people to subscribe to your emails. And so these are all just kind of simple ways that you can make that a a practice in all the ways that you're communicating with people.
Excellent, excellent. Oh man, Kimberly, you have blessed us with so much information, but like you mentioned, we're short on time, so it's so much that we can cover, but when it comes to marketing, it's a big topic. But this is why I'm extremely grateful that you're going to be joining us for our upcoming ministry launch conference in
Yes, I'm
January, on
looking forward
January
to that.
23rd and 24th. And you're going to be talking about messaging. Why is messaging so important, Kimberly?
Messaging is important because one, it helps you to communicate and articulate who you are and what you're up to. It aligns with your values, and it's what connects with the people that you want to serve.
Mhm, definitely, and she's gonna be breaking down so much more at our upcoming conference, and so if you have not gotten your tickets yet and you are a woman who plans to launch or scale your ministry or kingdom business, you wanna be in the room and visit ministrylaunchconference.com to get your tickets. And Kimberly, if you are someone who is looking for someone to help you with your marketing, your messaging, maybe you're a nonprofit organization, you heard all the knowledge that she has in her experience. Kimberly, where can people find out more about you and your consulting company?
You can go to my website, k-renee, Renay, dot consulting, and you can find me there, or you can send me an email at Kimberly at k-renay, dot consulting.
Well, everyone, I definitely encourage you to check out her website, some of the services she's offering. Again, you'll be able to see her again at our conference. But yes, Kimberly, is there any final comments or words of encouragement that you can share with our audience today?
Yes, you all are doing something amazing because you are doing what it is that you've been called to do. And in your ministry, the biggest thing is being able to connect with those that you want to serve and make that impact. Now, I know I've shared a lot of information today, but start basic, start small, start small. Don't overwhelm yourself, and go through this step by step. And over time, you will see the results. Marketing is not something that happens overnight. It takes some time. It takes some time to do. So, really do give yourself a sense of grace in this, and look for resources to support you on your journey. And
I
thank you so much
appreciate
for
you.
having me, Reverend Jocelyn. It's been wonderful to see how your business has grown since you have been a part of the program at Do Get X. And I'm grateful to still be involved in what it is that you're up to.
Oh, I can't let you go, Kimberly. So I'm so grateful you're involved too. Thank you for being here. Thank you for blessing our audience today and sharing some of your wisdom with them. I know you helped a lot of people.
I hope so.
You definitely did. And I thank you all for tuning in to another conversation with Rev Jocelyn here. I love sharing wonderful resources with you, wonderful people who will help you to grow your ministry or kingdom business and help you on your healing journey. So if you enjoyed today's episode, do me a couple favors, just a couple. Please, first of all, subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, share this information with a friend. If you are looking for more resources, we also put a bunch of stuff for you, a bunch of goodies in our show notes, including a way in which you can download a free ministry launch starter kit. So definitely check out all those resources in the show notes. And again, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, you stay encouraged, and I will see you next week. God bless you, family.